Hi, everyone. I'm Kelsey.
I'm
I'm JPatt.
George, and you're watching the Box Officers Podcast, where we will be here to review all and any movie and give them a rating. And so make sure you rate us at the end of this episode, wherever you're listening to this.
Watching a bad movie, it's like witnessing a serious crime, but have no fear. The box officers are here. For each episode, Kelsey, George, and I will review a few. My gosh, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. Why just happened? This is like 3 times in a row where I like fumble.
What's so funny?
Okay,
I didn't
we
notice
might as well
anything
keep
was
this
wrong.
in.
I was gonna say I didn't notice
Yeah.
anything was wrong until you acted like something was wrong.
So we're gonna review a new movie, and at the end of each episode, we're going to classify it based on the severity of punishment.
Yes. So films can be convicted of a felony, a misdemeanor, an infraction, or on the rare occasion found innocent. So today we are gonna be reviewing the movie 28 Years Later. So if you have not seen it, you're gonna want to pause the episode because we're gonna spoil the whole thing. But otherwise, we can get into the episode. Something that I did after I watched it was I went on Instagram and then I posted my story like a sneak peek review. I was like, hey, by the way, I hated it. The amount of people that reached out to me were like, oh my gosh, bro, my Pilates instructor reached out. It was like, oh my gosh, my husband wanted to go see this. Are you serious? Like, it was crazy.
Wow.
And I was like, oh no, I'm on an island by myself. I was so scared. But something that people were saying was like, everyone who disliked it didn't see the original films, whatever, you don't get it. First of all, I did. I saw both. So I don't know. Did you guys watch both of the like the
That's what
prequels?
that's what I was about to say. I
I did
never
not.
saw I
Yeah.
never saw the prequels, but I understood going into it. Like as soon as I started watching it, I'm like, okay, this director or whoever it was, I'm forgetting his name right now. He has a certain way of, I guess, filming his movies, I suppose. And that's why it wasn't filmed like a normal movie would be filmed, because there's a lot of like weird angles or scenes or and I'm just like, oh, okay, this just must be something unique, tailored to this director alone. And, I found out by the end of the movie that, yes, he indeed is, this is a very niche little genre of like zombie movies. So,
Yeah. The
yeah.
director is Danny Boyle. And you're correct in what you said. The other movies, the reason I didn't even ask y'all to watch the other ones because I don't like those either. So I would never ask someone I care about to go watch that. Sorry.
But I did see that clip where I guess London is empty and there's like trash everywhere from the
Yeah.
earlier. I saw that a lot. Like, so I guess I did see part of the movie without even knowing it was that. So I guess it's kind of iconic
Yeah.
in that part.
Now giving it a 1 out of 10, the whole 1 out of 10 thing, that was crazy. That was pretty crazy. But I let it sit. And I'm not gonna say I give it a 1 out of 10. I'm not gonna give it a 1 out of 10 because everybody saw your review, and I'm pretty sure you got lit up for it. I got the same messages. People thought those were my thoughts, and they were like, and then I had to defend myself. I'm like, I haven't seen it yet. Like, it's not like that. Like, I actually think there were some like pretty good, scary parts of the movie, but I let it sit, and I was just like, I'm glad I didn't take Nate to go see this movie because she would have just walked out. Like I had the patience, and I don't know. She just can't take all that. I didn't understand how disturbing his movies get. Going in, I was fresh to it because I never saw the originals, and then I found out they were like, yeah, like the ones before this one were quite disturbing as well.
Yeah.
And it's supposedly R-rated. I feel like this is more like a X-rated type of movie, in my opinion. It was crazy. Yeah.
I feel like I've seen crazier stuff because one of my favorite franchises of all time is Saw. And so, like, I think I'm desensitized to that kind of stuff now. But it is pretty gory if you're not, like, watching that in your free time. Like, I could watch Saw and then, like, I'll watch it before I go to bed at night. So, like, I feel like this was not too
Oh,
crazy in the sense that, like, hyperbole, please.
yeah, you got to pray over you.
Please. They already think I'm crazy, bro. Someone texted Aisha, y'all, and told her to tell me to go ahead and review the movie because she also somehow saw what I said about it. It was like crazy, guys. So yeah, but I
Controversial.
guess so. And I feel like I've said so many worse things
Mm.
before, but I think the hype was really big for this, and I get it. I mean, like, you release a sequel, right? 3 decades later, people are gonna be sad, I guess. And I feel like people that like zombie movies really like zombie movies. I know because I really like. I'm normally sad for a zombie movie, and I'll get into that later. But based on like the prequels, I went into this feeling very skeptical. Like, I thought those sucked to me, so these are gonna suck. And a lot of people are
So
like,
you
"Why
already
didn't
biased. You already biased a little bit.
would not say that so as to not undermine my opinions?" Well, yes, and I feel like, a lot of people were like, why didn't we get 28 months later? Because, it's 28 days, 28 weeks, and then 28 years is what we're watching right now. So they were like, why didn't we get 28 months? And it's because the director and the screenwriter, Alex Garland, were like beefing. But when it was supposed to be 28 months later and we didn't get it, my only wish is that they had continued to fight, because we probably wouldn't get this. I'm so sorry.
Oh my
But
gosh. Yeah.
She
well,
liked
let's
it.
be positive.
I
Let's talk
like
about what'd you like. Let's be positive.
okay. I actually liked it to an extent. I feel like for a horror movie or a movie about zombies, like the effect is pretty good. I feel like I liked it a lot until maybe about like halfway, three-fourths in. Especially that part. I really love that scene where Aaron Taylor Johnson, he plays Jamie, and his son Alfie Williams, he plays Spike, where they're trying to get back to the their encampment or whatever, and then you have this alpha zombie chasing after them. But it's like terrifying but beautiful at the same time because you see all these stars in the sky and stuff, but then you have this huge like gorilla type of human just like stomping through the water, and it's kind of like as he's getting closer to them, it's like it's just that fear inducing part. So I was like, dang, like he did it like a really good job on that part of the movie. That's my favorite part of the movie,
You
in my
just,
opinion.
yeah, you just described what I would consider to be the only good part in the movie.
Oh, that's the 1 out of the 10.
Yeah,
That's what
I
that was.
I even someone like myself who hated it can agree that that was
Yeah,
beautiful. Like, it was beautifully shot, and it was just like the right amount of like suspense and anxiety. And I feel like the way
yeah.
they shot it.
And I heard that was shot on iPhone
Do you want to
too.
know something funny? I'm trying to be positive, but since she brought it up,
What?
when I was being a hater initially, one of the things I said was, this literally, I made a negative comment about the cinematography, and I said it literally looks like it was shot on an iPhone. Matter of fact, the whole movie actually was shot on iPhone, so I'm not wrong, and I could tell.
Wow.
So I felt validated. I don't see why they're bragging about that. I get it. I think it's like, again, in line with them being like, is this like a super like indie punk vibe that we're going for right now? Like,
That's
ooh,
how it felt.
That's
That's
what it
what,
gave. It definitely
yeah,
gave
it
indie
definitely
to
gave
me.
that. Because that's why I was like, okay, this director must be unique with what he does. Because it feels like some indie movie, like some type of, what are those movies called? I don't know. Like, I might be using the wrong word, snuff films. I'm not sure what those are.
I
I
don't
don't
know what
know.
that is either, but like, low key, I feel
It's,
like you
yeah,
used that wrong. I thought like,
yeah.
I
Don't
feel
look that
like,
up. Don't look that up. Don't look that up. I don't think that's a good.
I think that's a good.
You know what
Yeah,
you're trying
Yeah,
to
yeah,
say.
yeah.
But I also don't
me
know the
either.
word for it.
But I don't think that's it.
Yeah, that's not it.
But we understand your sentiment for sure. It's definitely
It's
something that,
very,
like, I was gonna say, like, something that I feel like a British person, like a really edgy, like punk British person that's like outside in alleyways, like smoking cigarettes, said, I'm gonna make a zombie movie. Yeah.
yeah,
Lots of
that's it. Low
lots of
key.
piercings. That's the vibe it
Yeah.
gave me.
And like rock music.
Right.
Yeah.
And they try to
There's a
say
lot
that
of
I'm
that.
not artistic. Like, I don't get it. I get it. I wish I didn't get it, because then I could have, like, fusion be like the root of all problems. But no, I just think that I
Yeah.
understood it.
So what didn't you like about it,
No,
Kelsey?
you go. I want you to be. What did you like? You seem to like it more than the rest of us.
Like the world building of it.
Okay. Yeah, I love the world building. Yeah.
I just finished. Well, I did just come off the back of watching the
I
last.
knew you were gonna
Last
say
of Us
that. I knew that was
episode.
the only comparison you could make. I knew you were
So
gonna say that. Literally,
That's
because
okay.
why?
the second she said world building, and I feel like you're comparing or something.
You like the
Now
Last of Us. A lot of people
yeah,
didn't
the
like
games are
it.
great, but I heard the show is like trash.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't like the casting of the show and this and that. Given all the little, I feel like those stuff is minor. I actually liked, like in this season of The Last of Us, which is why I like this movie, was that the virus mutated. It can now be spread in the air, and there were super
Yes.
smart ones. So I feel like I really
Mhm.
saw the like comparisons to this movie, where it's like, well, I guess they kind of started off with like that. 'Cause I guess I didn't see the other one, so I didn't know also like how this even started and all that stuff. So that might have been a reason why that they just straight off just told us that okay, they are like some super smart ones, and I really like that because I feel like that gives like okay, you can make a zombie movie where like just the pure fact that there's millions of these people trying to eat you is like kind of scary and is enough to be a threat. But there's nothing more threatening than having that plus something that can organize all these crazy zombies.
Yeah.
And I think that I really like how they added that into the whole thing. And I think that's the only reason why it's scary, to be honest, because they could handle easily all the crazy like or normal crazy zombies. But once you got a smart one, then it's like, okay, this is an actual threat to your life, like for real. And I don't think it's a threat you can get over, if you're gonna be honest, because he's just as smart as you. So I really like that how that was like the main, I guess, scary part. So and I saw like some weird, like the stuff was weird, like the tracksuits was
Oh
weird,
yeah,
but
don't mention that. Right?
the
Don't mention
little
that yet.
the like TikTok
We'll get to that.
boots, like I was
Oh,
like,
the little
what's going
TikToks on.
on? But it was refreshing.
Yeah.
It was refreshing. Like, not every day is the same zombie over. Like, it was nice to see another take on it and another like world. Because we've seen so many zombie stuff. Like, what more? You can't beat the dead horse to the ground. Like, what is something that could give us a refreshing take on zombie movies? And I feel like this was that.
Yeah.
It
Honestly,
it had originality.
I
Sure. I will say I even liked the world building. I will say like it has like progressed, and I think they did a really good job of even in the first movie they show you where it started from, and then 28 weeks later like they do a good job of carrying you through like this. And so once I sat down
yeah.
for 28 years later, I had a very, very clear understanding of how we got here and like what was happening. But I saw someone like glazing saying, oh my gosh, it was so thoughtful how they had the kid not even know what a frisbee was. Come on, like that is not
Yeah,
that's
that's
not
not.
revolutionary thinking.
That's
Common sense.
yeah, that's the number one thing you
yeah,
do.
it's
Yeah,
it's
so stuff
common
like
sense
that.
world building.
I was gonna say stuff like that when they were like kind of glazing the world building. I was like, you're really doing too much.
Glazing is
That's what it
crazy.
was. Come on, they said it's so genius. I hadn't noticed it before, but the fact that he didn't even know what a frisbee was, girl, you better shut up. That doesn't. It's not genius level thinking. So that, but what you said makes a lot of sense. I definitely agree, and I also watched The Last of Us recently, and so for sure agree across the board. Did you guys also like the acting? Because if I had to say one positive, it was good acting.
I did mess with I messed with
Yeah.
the acting. I did, especially when it comes to the zombies. I mean, it just felt pretty real, I guess. And I haven't watched too many zombie movies, so I might be, tripping or whatever. But I say I would think because I feel like the last real zombie movie I watched was like World War Z, I think.
An
And
excellent
those
pick.
zombies, yeah, and those zombies were crazy, running up walls and
The
everything. But
scariest
I feel like,
zombies.
yeah, bro. I feel like these zombies though were a lot more realistic in a sense where they're not going to be like Walking Dead zombies, but they are going to be like frenzied, frantic, or whatever. Um, you know, I don't know all the lore, but I do feel like these were like some like zombies, like actually like like zombies that are actual threat. Because in The Walking Dead, people would just die to zombies most of the time just because they get stuck in one place for a second, or they trip and fall, or
Yeah.
something stupid like that. But these zombies felt like an actual threat, especially the alpha ones. I feel like those were like really hardcore You know, there's that Alpha one at the beginning of the movie, which was my favorite Alpha one, just because of how freaking terrifying it was.
Y'all
And
want to
then
know
there's that
something?
second one.
No, go
What you
ahead.
about
I'll
to
say
say?
it after.
And then there's that second one, and I've seen like 10 different TikToks talking about it schlong. And I'm like, okay, yeah, but I'm like, yeah, but
I was like,
Can we
no, when I
say that
first
out
saw
here?
it, I was like,
I said,
no, because I didn't know what I was looking at. Like, I was like, I know it's not what I thought it was, but
I'm like,
okay.
okay, but it's terrifying. Talk about how terrifying the thing was, and everybody's talking about it swinging back and forth, and I'm like, I wasn't
I,
even,
that was
Wait,
very
I
I wasn't
traumatic.
actually
even looking
don't
at
even
that.
know. I was gonna say, can you tell me
Yeah.
what part of the movie? Because Loki, I don't think that I peeped
Now,
that.
like, I noticed it.
You see it, that first scene where he is like, I think it was a deer or something. Was it a deer?
Maybe.
Something with antlers. And you saw the head was like, he put it on the
Yeah.
tree and it was like a flashback.
Yeah.
And then that's when you
Oh,
see, that's when I like
Now,
first
that's
was
not when
like,
I even noticed it. I noticed it at the point, it was after the whole pregnant woman thing, which that part to me was disturbing enough. That's why I was like, okay, what am I watching? But
yeah.
it was after that part, I guess, I think he was chasing the mom and the kid. Yeah, he was chasing the mom and kid out into the field, and then that's when the doctor found them.
right.
That's when I noticed it for the first time, but apparently it was noticeable before then, and people were like,
But I also was one of the people who I saw everybody talking about beforehand. So
yeah,
I kind
I
I
of,
was
didn't.
already.
I don't want to say looking for it, but didn't know it. And they were calling it infected third
That's,
leg.
yeah, that's
So
Okay,
this is their
like,
fault because I was just like, what does that
no,
even mean? Like, try to explain this to a
yeah,
starving medieval child. Like, what does this mean? So I was searching for a meaning throughout that film, and then when I saw that
like,
I
scene, I
no,
was like,
for real,
literally.
okay, like
I
what?
didn't see it at
go,
all, I think. Or if I did, I just don't remember because, like, I think I was, like, for example, during that scene with the mom and the child, I'm actually focused on them so much that, like, I see him, but I'm not, like,
yeah,
I don't think my attention was on him, really. So I didn't catch that. I don't know, like,
yeah.
if that's a
I caught it
blessing
like
or.
once. I caught it like once just because all the zombies are naked. You know, I'm not even looking at them because I mean they're naked, but they're also like dirt covered or hair covered or something like that, and they're naked. And I only saw it in one scene, and then I'm like, oh, okay, they're like getting real, like real with it. I mean, I just saw a pregnant zombie give birth, so I guess it's not crazy to see a zombie with a third leg chasing after. I don't know. I look up one video on TikTok, just one video on TikTok to get some lore about the movie, and then the next 10 TikToks about that movie is about his third leg. And it pissed me off. I had to,
Yeah, that's what I saw on TikTok too. That was really, and I was confused because
Your For
like
yeah,
I
You
didn't,
page,
I
not
was like,
mine.
what does this even mean?
I had to put not interested. I put not interested in the topic because I'm like, I'm tired of seeing it. Like, why y'all talking about this so much? So, it's so strange. It's so
You guys,
strange.
you guys, actually, what I was going to say
Oh boy.
earlier that you thought I was getting canceled before, this will really do it. I actually thought that was Jason Momoa, like, at first glance. Like, I know.
You're cooked. You're cooked.
Shoot.
I'm
You're
sorry.
cooked.
I just thought, I don't know, maybe it gave, like, Game of Thrones
That's
No,
vibes.
crazy.
I can't even see that.
I
You
could
can?
see it just with the dreads and stuff. I could see it like with his hair look, but I didn't think it was like Jason Momoa at first sight.
Yes, I
I could see the
did.
resemblance though.
It was a
That's what you
big,
that's what you thought at first sight?
it was a big
Yeah, I
man.
mean, yeah. It was a big guy, but it wasn't Jason Momoa build. It
And that's
wasn't like,
when I started to question it. But I remember seeing him in
yeah.
Game of Thrones, and he looked like very like gnarly, and so I said, "Oh, he's back roughing it." But I was wrong. It's not him.
And the guy was played by, who was the guy played by? Chi Lewis Perry.
Yeah, I thought he did
Chi
great
Lewis
though.
Perry. Yeah, I'm
He
pretty
did
sure
good.
there's gonna be a bunch of people looking him up now apparently.
Oh,
But
Well, new
yeah,
fans.
I'm like, but besides that, you
Alfie
know, I think
Williams
the
did
zombies are
really
pretty
good.
cool.
The boy,
Yeah,
Alfie,
the boy
he
did really
looks like an
good, and
Alfie.
then
That was really
yeah,
convincing. Yeah, that was convincing.
my man Aaron Taylor Johnson. I love him. I love him from whatchamacall, a Bullet Train. Very
Yeah, he did good in that too. This was
yeah.
good. This was convincing too.
Yeah, it was very good acting.
Even
But
Ralph, pronounce his last name for me.
Ralph Fiennes, maybe Fiennes or Ralph Fiennes, something like that. Let me see.
Risk our fault. But actually him, Jodie Comer, both of them, beautiful performances. Now Ralph, I've seen him in a few things. He always eats every single time. Actually, Jack O'Connell, I ain't seen him look like that before, but he did good, you know?
Yeah,
Beautiful acting, beautiful performances. I will not fault the actors for the script they were given.
no, especially Aaron Taylor. I mean, like he did his role. I wish we saw more of him in the movie. I really did, because I mean, you have the son taking his mom out to go to the doctor. I really want to see more of him. Maybe he goes out, hunts his son down, chases them down or whatever. Just something, because I mean, I liked his character in the movie. I liked how much of a good teacher he was, in my opinion. Like when they're being chased by zombies, he's telling his son like run, 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 stop. Telling him where to shoot and stuff. And I don't know, if I was in that
That was
position, like
pretty
I feel like
cool.
I don't know, yeah, that was crazy. Like you got to stop, shoot arrows at zombies, and they're like running full speed at you. Yeah, I like that scene a lot.
Nice father son bond until he was like cheating on his dying
Yeah,
wife.
yeah, that's a bit crazy. Yeah,
Correct.
damn,
But
yeah.
I
I was
feel
like,
like,
dang, yeah. I liked his character, and then that happened, and I was like, now it's a little half and half. Cause yeah,
yeah,
like
I
why would
feel
you
like,
do that on your sick wife?
yeah, but I mean, this is a post apocalyptic world. I'm sure. Um, yeah, no, there's not like
True,
an
but
excuse, but like, anyways,
my
Kelsey
gosh,
trying to
I
find
was
right.
something
trying to be like, I was trying to
supportive.
find some kind of justification, but there really isn't.
I think they did that to show that he was kind of a bad person and he's a narcissist. And yes, he can care for his son, but two things can be true at the same time.
I feel like they didn't show that until after they got back, because he was telling everybody how his son did this, how his son did that, and his son was like, "Oh, I didn't even kill one zombie," or I mean, like, "Oh, I didn't like, get one good shot off or whatever." But I mean, I feel like that was just him, like, just looking out for his son, just hyping his son up. I mean, they
No,
survived an alpha zombie. Come
I
on,
feel like he did that for him, like to get some attention, some
Him,
praise, some
yeah.
recognition, whatever. Like Georgette said, a
he was
little
getting that
bit.
attention because I thought he was just
He
like,
knew,
It was like the son is an
right?
extension of him, but in that moment, that was
Yeah,
for him.
uh,
I don't think that was,
because he's the one
yeah. And
storytelling.
like, I did see someone else.
That's
Yeah.
praise towards him, even for like teaching his son, raising his son, things like that. It seemed
uh,
self
Yeah.
motivating for sure.
I get it, yeah.
Yeah. Even though he does
Yeah,
care about his son. So that's how I was saying, like,
very
two stuff
dynamic.
can be true. Which, yeah.
Interesting characters for
Interesting.
sure.
So, what did you guys hate? I'm talking to Georgette mainly because
Kelsey hated
Kelsey got a
everything.
fully loaded.
What I didn't like, but I was just kind of confused about the clips and stuff that was like randomly being added. But I feel like that was his artistic
Yeah,
style. Like I
like
said, like it was kind of
yeah.
off-putting. I didn't enjoy it. It didn't do nothing for me. It was just like, oh,
So
he's
you
doing his
agree,
little
like
thing.
the
Like
cinematography was not good.
She didn't say it
it
wasn't
was
good. It was
different.
different. It was
It was very
yeah.
different, and I don't think it helped. I think it was just like you doing your little thing,
Mhm.
like
I
do
literally
your little
felt
dance,
like
okay.
I remember when I was in middle school and I would get school projects and I was like, "Oh, they said you can make a video for your project." And I did something similar. This is not a compliment.
Low key like that,
Wow.
like when you get to do a PowerPoint and you just be doing all this crazy stuff, like
Yeah,
that's kind of what it gave. But I mean, that's his artistic stamp. But I don't think it did anything for me as the viewer. That's, but it also didn't do anything negative. It just
and
didn't do anything,
honestly,
which is like why add it unless it's
if
just
you have enough
yeah.
money to make a movie, I guess you can make it how you want. If you like it, that's all that matters. I do hope he feels that way
It's a
because
free country.
I feel like yes, people liked it, but a lot of people also didn't, and that was part of the issue. Like, why is it choppy like that? Like, I literally felt like he ran out of RAM on his Mac when he was editing, and that's why it's glitching like that. Like, it was really distracting.
He saved a lot of time by doing that because I feel like he took the easy route. It's like one of those like abstract artists where they just like paint a black screen or something. And it's like, how long did this take
I
you?
literally said the same people who are defending this film are the people that go to like modern exhibits and they see a blank canvas with a red like streak of paint on it and they're like, wow, I'm moved. I've never seen pain pictured like this before. Like that was the target audience. And I'm not like that. Like I just feel like
some of those abstract paintings can move the
paint
soul.
on the blank.
And I
Please,
think that
no, it's
feel moved at times because I'm just like, wow, so empty, so meaningless, so void.
you know,
It's all about
no,
execution.
you know the banana where it's just a banana and it's worth like hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars. It's like that. The people that look at the banana sitting there and they're like, wow, like iconic. I would pay $1 million for this. No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I feel like just because something
This was like
was
that.
like that to me personally. And you know, some of y'all might be mad at me, but it must be said. I feel like just because this is a movie where they talk about the dynamic between a mother and her child, because you have Spike and his mom, but you also have like the zombie and her baby and all of this stuff going on. And even the dynamic between the son and the father. So just like a lot of family dynamics, and there's like a lot that you can take from that. Even Jack O'Connell's character and the scene we got in the opening between like him and his dad in the church and like how he is now, just because you have that and it has a message does not mean it's a good movie. I'm sorry. I could go around preaching world peace, but if I have like ugly handwriting, nobody's gonna care. Okay, wait. No. I feel like that was not a good example.
Like,
I feel
Where
like
is that going?
but you get my point is that just like they said like, oh, it has a message and it's really violent. So this is a good zombie movie. And it's like, no, I can think of like countless others that were way better. And I would argue this one, the depth to it was so like in your face that people are
Mhm.
like thinking it's like great storytelling, and it's like no, it's just like a very straightforward, almost to a point where it's like painful. Like I knew obviously the dad was gonna have a problem. Obviously the boy's gonna have a sick mother. Obviously he's gonna run away from the safest place in the world right now. Like, you know, come on. And then they're like, ooh, like the big zombie's ripping the heads off and there's a spine. Wow. Like, no. I was unmoved.
okay. What would you have liked to see, Kelsey?
None of
to
it.
be moved by this movie?
Good
I
question,
would've liked
Georgette.
to
Good
see-
question.
I would have liked to see, honestly, like 40% of my complaint was like the way it was shot. I artistically did not feel like that style of cinematography was like appealing to me. So I would have asked for it to be shot better. Like I said earlier, that scene where they were running back to the camp was beautiful. And there was a scene where like some of the zombies were on like a hill and it's kind of like a shadow because the sun is setting or something. That was pretty cool. I would have preferred something like that. Also, the tone shifts.
Mhm.
Now, people were like, again, like, you guys just don't get it. No, I know the other movies had great tonal shifts like that too. It didn't make sense then either. I feel like the way the tone so drastically shifts between, like, you know, like the end of the movie didn't even seem like I was watching the same movie by the time I got there. I've never liked when movies do that. And I feel like part of it, they think like it's so, again, retro or like cool or punk or edgy that it's like it's gonna be well received. It will be by those type of people,
Yeah.
but like the average person is gonna think that was a little weird, and it's okay. It's not. It doesn't have to be made for
Yeah.
everybody. But me personally, I felt like it didn't even serve the movie to have it be that like jarring, those like shifts.
Yeah.
So that was also weird. And I feel like some of it, for some reason, it just didn't feel super deep to me. I understood the message, but it was almost so explicitly in my face that it lacked depth, I guess, which I don't know how to correct that though. And that's why I'm not a screenwriter. But that's just how I
That
felt.
shift was so crazy. Like honestly, if you had the movie set at like maybe like a 4 out of 10, and then you saw that, and then at the movie it was like a 1 out of 10 or something, like that's understandable.
That's what
That makes
happened.
sense.
That's literally
Yeah.
what happened.
Because
The
I
last-
remember being in the theater, the people I was sitting around, they saw it after all of that mess happened. Like you just felt like the energy in the theater just like disappear.
But hold on. I heard that The ending. You remember when the boy
That's
was playing
that's
with
what
the
I was about to
toy?
explain. I'll explain it,
Yeah.
Georgia. I'll explain it. So
Yeah. Get into it. Get into
basically,
that.
that Power Ranger that he was playing with, that did signify something. So okay, that Power Ranger. Okay, you remember at the end of the movie how they were all hopping around like Power Rangers. They all had their different little colors and stuff like that. Basically, that group, they grew up from kids. All they knew when the outbreak happened, I believe, was Power Rangers 90s stuff. So after the outbreak happened and they grew up, they basically grew up fighting the zombies as if they're Power Rangers because that's all they've ever known. So that's where all of that, hopping around, all that weird crap came from because these are essentially, if you think about it like this, like Peter Pan, those were essentially like the Lost Boys. They never grew up, but they fight these zombies and kill them as if they're fighting like the Power Rangers, which is why people are like, why are they? Which goes back to the Power Ranger he had at the beginning of the movie. So, of course, Spike, he's going to see them. He's like, you guys are just like my little Power Ranger. He's like, oh, you know the Power Rangers? I could see that happening in the next movie, but I feel as if there wasn't enough context there for people to like understand it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to go research that. When I saw that at the end of the movie, I was like, okay, there goes the money I just paid for to watch this movie. Cause I mean, like everything was, oh my gosh. Like if you felt the energy shift in my movie theater, I remember people started laughing afterwards. I think I heard somebody say, what the F? And people were laughing. And like, it was just such a vibe change. It felt like you went from this it felt like you went from this super disturbing zombie movie to something like, what's that one zombie movie called? I don't know, just a goofy horror movie. You know what I'm talking about? Like where they're like killing zombies for fun, like it's some, thrash 'em type thing. It was yeah, it was a crazy vibe switch, but apparently that's the lore behind it. And I think they should have kind of explained that better. Maybe they have, maybe it's something that you just learn from the movies that came beforehand, but
You'll
I don't know.
it'll be like elaborated on in the sequel,
I'm sure,
But
yeah.
excellent analysis. I fully agree. I just think that the way they went about a lot of this movie, it felt borderline like satire to me. And I know that it wasn't
Mhm.
supposed to be. And I found that to mean like it's not great because it's not supposed to be satire at all. But it felt like almost ridiculous.
It was very ridiculous. And there was a plot point or like a twist that I didn't like too much, and it was near the it was after they met that soldier. I forget his name, but it was after they met that soldier. I feel like the soldier and the kid had a good little synergy going on. You have this guy, he's the last of his little troop left. Everybody gets killed off. He runs into the mom and the kid, and now they're all together. I felt like he was going to play an essential character on the story going forth. And then you have that whole weird scene on the train, and then the soldier gets instantly killed off. Unreasonably so. I mean, we just saw a zombie give birth to a human child. He's freaked out. I'm not sure what the whole woman to woman moment was with her. I'm gonna help you have this baby. I'm like, be for real, like be for real, bro. Like be for real. I know I understand it was supposed to be all sweet and stuff, but like really like just be for real. And then he instantly just gets whoop and just killed. And then that big zombie is just throwing his head around. I'm like, I liked that guy. I'm like, what just happened to that character?
You're so mad.
I'm like, I like that guy. And then I have to see his head being held. I feel like I was making a connection with the character. I'm like, okay, he's a pretty chill dude. And now he's dead. And now they're just walking around, with his for like 15 minutes, and then I have to watch it. I have to watch it get washed and cooked, and
Fortunately, there were
I
three
was so
parts.
pissed off by that.
There were 3 parts of this movie that I thought were acceptable. 1, the scene where they're running back to base with the dad. 2, when he was like, he had his mom's skull and he was like
Yeah.
placing it on top of the thing. And 3 was the scene you just described. I felt like
Yeah.
good parts. Because I'm not even kidding you guys. Like, I almost dozed off. And I think I would just like, in terms of my like hater perspective, I guess, or whatever, the last thing I'll say about it is just that at the end of the day, it was just a movie that I wanted so badly to connect with, or like to not even connect with, just enjoy. But I
Hmm.
could not care to watch it. Like if I had to give you a sentence on why I didn't like it or why it was rated so low for me, I didn't care to watch it. I sat down, and I have like, I think, a pretty broad like range of like interest when it comes to movies. I love zombie movies, so I was almost by default in support of what was going to happen. I have
Yeah.
never felt like I could care to finish these. And that made me like think, okay, well, I must not like it then. That's all. And there's various
Nah.
reasons, but like that's like the most important thing. I didn't feel like watching it, and I paid for it. And I didn't feel like, I almost thought like if I weren't doing this podcast, like I low key could leave. And
Now, I wanted to watch it just because I was like, I was pretty interested in it. I'd never seen any of the movies before, and there was just hype. It was honestly just the hype. I probably will never. This is a movie that I will like never watch again. Not just because of the ending and stuff like that. Maybe I'll
yeah,
watch the
no,
sequel, but more
we'll
so
have
just
to.
because of the yeah. More
But would y'all show the movie to
No.
someone else?
no, I wouldn't. Honestly, I'll be honest.
I actually would. Like, if I if I was just like, guys, will you guys have a movie? Want to watch this movie?
I'd show half of it.
Like, it'll be like
Do
a
you
cute
hate
little,
your
like,
friends?
you
You
know.
hate them?
Sometimes you need a controversial movie to keep people up. It's not every day you want the most like dialogue rich, the
Uh,
most like cinematography. Sometimes you just need something a little funny with a little giggle with like, what
Yeah.
is this? You know? And I feel like that
I
kind of
And
I'd
needs
show
that.
half of it,
I don't
like
know.
just
I would
half.
say, like, also just to clarify, when I say I couldn't care to watch it, I mean like once I got there, like once I sat down, I should have said I can't care to finish it. So I mean I sat down and I paid for it, I watched it obviously, but I didn't care to finish it. Like if the theater had burned down like mid movie, I would have been like, okay, because I
It's
didn't
crazy.
care. And I am like not the type of person who could like leave a movie unfinished like ever. And I didn't care to finish it, is what I should have said. But yeah, I would not recommend this to anyone. I was supposed to originally go see it with my sister, and I ended up going by myself. And afterwards, I was like, I'm actually glad you couldn't make it, because like you would have wasted your money. That was divine intervention, maybe.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I told Nay, I was like, I'm glad you didn't come to watch that with me, just because of the ending, because of some of the
Y'all are
pacing.
so
No, no,
harsh.
I'm not gonna call it a 1 out of 10. See, I did need to get on you about that because it wasn't a 1 out of 10. But I said that I told you that
1.5.
in the movie theater. I told you that while I was like, what do you say, 0.5? What 0.5? I told you, I told you that while I was in the movie theater, while I was like halfway through the movie. I'm like, no, this ain't no 1 out of 10. I was actually interested. I was like engaged with the world building, where it was going. But once it got past the part where the soldier was killed off, and then it's almost like the movie slows down in a way. You get to this, you get to the doctor's place. You're thinking that he's going to heal the mom, or he's some interesting character. Like, what's he doing with all of these bodies? And for what? He's just building a memorial out of bones. I'm like, I was expecting a little bit more than that. And then the mom just dies. Like, oh, you have cancer. All right, I'll go die now. And then the mom just dies. And then after that, the kid goes home, drops the baby off. And then, that's pretty much that, just an
And they
emotional
skipped
moment.
over that whole journey because, by the way, make it add up.
Yeah,
He journeyed all the way back home, only to say, "I'm going back," and they completely skipped
yeah,
over this journey back home and back out into the world.
yeah.
And like,
And then y'all are talking about like he dropped this baby off without anybody seeing when
because
there's a
weren't
guy
the
on that
guards
watchtower.
watching? Exactly.
Yeah, like
Listen,
nobody saw this kid walk up. Nobody ran out to grab him. He just walked up, unseen, dropped this little baby off, and walked back
that's what they're
unseen.
saying, and we're supposed to buy
Yeah,
that. But I will say,
So
you guys definitely helped me. I do not feel like it was a 1 out of 10 now. I do feel like it was a 3 out of 10 though. But you guys
there you
helped
go.
me get to that place. I'm open. I'm reasonable.
That's good.
But you
That's
know,
good.
I think that, everyone thinks I'm the biggest hater. There's some other ones out there. I'm not alone. I saw a tweet and it says, "Do not believe the hype." Around 28 years later, that was the worst movie I've ever seen. Danny Boyle and Alex Garland have taken what was such a terrifying premise and turned it into a Marvel movie with terrible cinematography and awful storytelling. That's all I was trying to say.
That's a terrible tweet.
I don't know
Yeah,
about
that's a terrible
Marvel.
tweet. It's definitely not
Yeah,
no.
it didn't give
It's definitely
that.
not no Marvel movie.
Okay, Marvel,
It's
no,
not.
and I like
No,
Marvel.
not
So no, no,
Marvel.
no, no. Erase
Yeah,
that part. Erase Marvel. Everything else stands. Well, yes.
No, it wasn't terrible
Kelsey, think
cinematography.
about that
I definitely
cinematography.
seen worse
Think about that
movies.
cinematography. They're crossing this lake at night. You see the stars. You see them. You see the water
I like that
splashing.
part.
The stars reflecting in the water. And then this big zombie. You hit it. You see his foot hit the sign. It says, and then they just turn around. It's like, and then you see this giant zombie running towards them, and he's like, "Run!" That moment in the movie was so. I feel like the cinematography in that moment, is what like hooked me. That's
That
when I was
moment,
like, okay,
that
that
moment
yeah, that
cannot
moment.
carry the whole film, though.
It definitely no, it definitely can't carry the whole film, but it is. If I were to tell somebody to go watch it, I'd be like, at least watch it up to this point. At least
Okay.
watch it up to,
Okay.
and
Yes,
then
just
yeah,
get to
just get to
this.
this, or just get to the point before you watch a zombie give birth, and you'll be all right.
Mm,
Because I personally wish I didn't want to see that. I mean, maybe it's just me being a guy, and then her being a zombie and all of that mess.
It was
I didn't
interesting,
I
though.
didn't want
I
to
like
see.
that part.
Yeah, you
It
like
was
that part?
I was curious. Again, like George was saying earlier, when you have zombies that are like clearly intellectuals or like have some kind of emotions or like have evolved, I always think that's like really interesting. And that was a very like clear example of that in a few ways. Even like biologically, like this baby not being a zombie was interesting because I didn't know what we were about to get. I almost
Now that
thought
was
we were getting
interesting. Yeah.
a zombie baby, but
Now if y'all got a zombie baby, yeah, like that would have pissed me off even more. But I did
But my
think.
question is, why didn't the mom eat the baby?
Well, because I mean, she was like she was rearing from the fact that she just had childbirth. She tried to eat the other mom. So, like, immediately tried to eat the other
Like,
mom. And I'm pretty sure that Alpha would have eaten all three of them, especially the baby. But I'm
I
not mad
thought
at the soldier. I'm not,
I thought he was the
what?
father and was trying to like that's why he was chasing them was to
I'm
get
pretty,
back his
I'm,
son.
no, yeah. I'm pretty sure he was the father, but if he saw that his baby was a human, he would have been
Uh
like, okay, why did you go have sex with a human? You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure that's what the father zombie would have thought. Like, who have you been fornicating with? Because that's not my child.
no, if
Yeah.
I don't know if it would be thinking all of that.
would that be a conversation that would be had?
That feels like a lot, but that's funny.
But I don't blame the soldier for shooting the pregnant zombie, and I do hate that they killed him off so easily, just like that. Like they just made him into like a monster in seconds, and then they just immediately kill him off. And I'm like, oh
Yeah.
man, I was like, dang, his poor girlfriend. That part was funny though when he was talking about what you call it. I don't
Oh,
know. The
his
kid
girlfriend.
said he was like,
Oh, that was
yeah,
funny.
yeah,
Yeah, his
yeah.
fiance.
That was the funny part. Yeah,
That was funny. Well, speaking of
yeah.
like connecting, this one might resonate with you then. 28 Years Later is one of the best movies of the year, in absolute awe of what Danny Boyle, Alex Garland, and Anthony Dodd Mantle and the entire team pulled off. Think is the most okay, they did type that right. I think this is the most sincere, tender film you can see right now. Absolutely breathtaking. See it in a theater, take your mom. Would you say
No, she's
that this is
definitely
the most
lying.
sincere, tender
Holy
film?
glaze.
No,
Holy
no.
glaze.
I feel like
That
this
is a
tweet is
glaze.
I
sarcastic.
set you
Actually,
up.
talking about take your mom. Yeah.
That's too much.
Now
That's
the
too
scene
much,
that they have
no.
connected to it, I can understand why they added that scene to it because you can see the dad and his son running across the waters. I think if anybody sees the movie, but everybody's gonna agree this was the best scene in the whole movie. I'd have to say that
Yeah.
is the best scene in the whole movie. But the whole one of the best movies of the year, tender film is crazy.
That's not the
and then
first
talking
time I
about
heard
take
that either.
Tinder. No.
Yes. I'll even let you, I'll take it a step forward. I don't know if you've heard Georgette say this before, but she has a love for the saying memento mori. And I saw someone say, keep thinking about how 28 years later is actually the most tender, endearing film of the year. Really under my skin, the idea of starting with memento mori and effortlessly landing at memento amoris. Brilliant writing from Alex Garland and career best from Ralph F.
Do you not agree with the career best?
But I thought he did
Oh.
great. But I mean, I've always liked
Well,
his stuff, so I wouldn't say that it was his best.
career
But
bet.
that's not
Yeah,
even
yeah.
like
I mean, I'd have to see the other movies.
that's not even the part that's like sticking with me. Would you say
To watch the first
it's
movies.
irrelevant? It's not okay. I've watched them. You don't need to watch them to understand this.
Okay.
It would let me know if this was going down or up, and I feel like that would give me some comparison, like a comparative, like to start off with. Because to me, it wasn't that bad. I think that's what affected you, maybe. I feel like this was bad to you compared to the other
I will
ones.
say it was like the least. It
Like
was the
super
least
bad.
serious one to me. I felt like the other ones, yeah, I guess, to an extent. But I mean, I've
And I
never
feel like me and JPatt feel like
I've
it's just
never
original.
liked. I was gonna say the other ones were also slightly like I don't know. I just feel like it's the same director. He's always directed this way. I don't think I follow his style well because I didn't like the other ones either, really. But it's more so where she's like again endearing film of the year. Like, come on now.
I do agree with this tweet. It says the first alpha chase, and 28 years later, it has visuals in it so astonishing that it felt like Danny Boyle was just flexing at one point. Best cinematography I've seen all year among a plethora of visually stunning films we've gotten. And I agree with that because you were talking about that scene of the zombies on the hill, right? With the tree. That scene, in my opinion, that was like, what's the word? Not disturbing. I don't know, dreadful. You just see them standing there and you know that they're looking at you. You know what I'm saying? If you put yourself in their shoes. And then the whole scene with them running across the water and everything. I feel like the cinematography was really strong at the beginning of the movie. Like within the first like hour of the movie, the cinematography was like super strong.
Some of the worst shots were in the first hour as well with the red when it switched with red and it would glitch around. But I agree, like these shots are great. Best of the year? No.
Yeah. Now those red shots, I was wondering what was going on because it was just throwing me off because you don't see that in movies. Those random red shots. I'm like, is this all happening in somebody's head? Or. But apparently it's supposed to be flashbacks of what's happening in the moment, like how that deer head got up in the tree or something like that. But I didn't understand that until like after the fact. And
I understood it. I didn't like it though.
yeah,
But
some
I
people
agree.
some people actually really liked it, I guess. They were just like, oh my gosh, that's so different. Or, it's like
You're good, I
people
guess.
just tend to like that.
Like
Yeah.
being different and ugly. I guess I'm beautiful because it was different. Like that's how I
That's
take
kind of
those
how
comments. But
yeah.
I mean, again, I'll flip back. 28 years later is bad, very bad. The script feels like it's a spoof film and takes away, maybe that's the word you were looking for earlier. It takes away
That's the word. That's the word. Yeah.
It takes away everything that the original built and throws it away. So many pieces of the puzzle make zero sense, and the third act that makes you want to walk out highly disappointed. I think it's fair to blame the third act, maybe.
I think that's the third act for me because I was expecting more from that last act. The part with his mom and everything that was like cute and emotional. But I guess I was just expecting a bit more story or a bit more like lore, some more adventure instead of the child just going there, having his mom killed and then somehow making it back, in the next scene. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
right.
thought we were going to see a whole journey back, but
Sure.
it just happened.
You're right. I'm so glad we agreed on one or two things.
Anything to say, George? What you think?
No, I was just enjoying the movie. Honestly, I didn't feel no type of way. I feel like once I don't expect that much from a movie, I'm just like, well, I was thoroughly entertained. And sometimes that's all you can ask for, guys.
Well, yes, I suppose.
Are we being slightly hypercritical sometimes? We have to be self-aware, too.
I'm not. I think I was reasonably critical. I just want everyone to know that some people did come back to me after watching it themselves and validate my experience as well. I'm not the only one. There are more of us out there. And if you see this,
Is there room for films to be ridiculous?
yes, as long as we admit.
Do we have space for that, or should a film just be so serious and just so here's the plot, here's this, make it make sense? Sometimes don't we need a little bit of ridiculousness in our life?
If it acknowledged or if it owned that would be fine. But I think it's the part where people are saying it's the most serious, thought-provoking film of the year, and it's the best zombie movie we've had in decades. Where I'm like, okay, no. But if you're just like, oh, I have fun watching it, I'd be like, okay, maybe you did have fun watching it. But that's not what they're saying.
We say that the thought was provoked. I was provoked by thought a few times.
Sure. I feel like it was not a serious movie to me though. I couldn't take it seriously. I feel like it definitely had a message, but again, I was like, I could make a message out of an egg cooking on the sidewalk if I really wanted to. I feel like it just didn't have
yeah, that's
the layers.
I keep drawing comparisons to abstract art.
Yeah.
It's some people like abstract art, some people like classical art, some people like romantic art. It's just, I feel like it's like that. But
I didn't know his films were so abstract.
Yeah, I think it's just abstract, and I think it doesn't follow. Yeah, it doesn't follow the typical. I wouldn't even say zombie movie. I would just say movie in general. So the palette, I feel like it's up to your palette whether or not you would like it. Not necessarily, oh, it's a bad movie, but I think it's just, okay, is this within your palette?
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's so divisive.
And I like that. I think you're right though. I will say if I'm being serious, not trying to crack cheap jokes at the film, it's really just that's just not my preference when it comes to directing styles or whatever. It just wasn't for me, but I can see why somebody would like it, because there are directors I like that other people don't like. And so, it's kind of like how some people like Wes Anderson and some don't, it's just those people who are unique in their thing, and that's the risk they take. And he has enough support on this film. They're obviously getting a trilogy out of it, so it is what it is. You've gotten us for 3 decades, so you're doing something right. And I think because it's controversial, it'll do well, because some people are going to see it based on the fact that so many other people hated it, so many other people loved it. It'll probably perform decently. The last tweet I'll share is a really funny one, and it said hashtag 28 years later, ending with no context, and it's the Power Rangers. And it's yeah, well, yes. I was shocked.
Ending.
That was hilarious.
Yeah,
in a way that I was silent.
It was jarring, because it kind of you. I mean, in that last scene, you see the kid trying to survive on his own for some reason. Trying to survive on his own. He's being chased by zombies, and then out of nowhere, you see these Power Rangers just pop up, and it goes from being such a serious film, especially after watching the kid's mom just die. It goes from being such a serious film to all of a sudden it's like a spoof film, like Scary Movie 5. It goes from being so serious to, okay, we have guys doing backflips and stuff and tearing up these zombies and all of that. And I mean, now we know why they're like that, but everybody was like, what, how did that make it through? Was that a blooper?
I don't
Some people were
like, where was the audience testing, the screen test? But can I ask, are you horizontal on purpose, George?
Yeah, my phone's on
George at this spin,
Okay, just clarify.
I'm dead. Let me see if I can,
it's okay. I just wanted to make sure you do.
Okay.
So, okay. Well, let's just get into this. We have a job here, and we're not leaving until it's done.
Yeah.
What are your ratings?
We have to rate it. I have to give it a misdemeanor. Is that before a felony? Yeah, I give it a misdemeanor. I'm not going to give it a felony for the sole fact that the first half of the movie was great to me. It was just flawless to me, in my opinion. That's when I text you, I'm like, yeah, you're tripping, Kelsey. And then the rest of it, especially the end.
And then you're like, hold on.
And then the rest of it, especially the end. Now, the rest of it wasn't too bad, but it was the end that made it lose 2-3 points. That I was like, okay, what was that? Because I thought you were tripping. I thought you were seriously tripping. but then I could see the ending of that movie. Like if you had it at a 5 out of 10, I could see that ending it dropping it to a 1. So yeah, I could see that. But yeah, it was a crazy way to end such a serious, disturbing movies. I'm gonna give it a misdemeanor. It definitely. I mean, you can give it a felony, honestly, Kelsey. I'd understand if you would, because you're a little bit more. You're a little bit more negative towards it. But I'm gonna give it a misdemeanor.
I'm glad
I know
that
you're
you
gonna
can
give it a felony.
understand. I'm glad you can understand what I'm about to do right now. Yes, it is a felony. And I would totally I actually appreciate what you said because that's literally what happened. When I was watching a movie, initially it was not like a 1 out of 10 to me. But by the time we got into like the second act, they started to lose me a little
Mhm.
bit, and it's like you lose points from there. Like it was already giving, like I think I said earlier, it wasn't holding my attention after that scene where they ran across the water. After that, like my attention, they were losing it. And then I just had no motivation to finish it, but I'm finishing it anyways, and this is what you want to give me? Like, yeah, you're losing points there. So I would say it's like a
Yeah.
3. Maybe I should reserve a 1 for something truthfully like horrific. But this was still bad. And a 3, you're going to 25 to life for sure. So yeah, it's a felony. Um, I'm so sorry to everyone who no longer
Oh
trusts
my
me and
gosh.
my opinions, but I hope I redeem myself at some point in your lifetime. That's all I've got.
And George,
I would say it's innocent. I'm actually thinking it's
innocent.
innocent, y'all. I
She's
like
trying to play
zombie
with it
movies.
now.
I like.
I like
Not
zombie
even an
movies.
I'm
infraction.
not. I like
Not
fantasy
even an
I
movies.
love
infraction.
zombie movies.
I have
What's
no
your favorite? What's your
complaints.
favorite zombie movie?
But I feel like for what it is, no, but like for what it is, like it never gave like super serious,
I thought it did.
like I was gonna say, like Last of Us did this or Walking Dead. Like if some of this was implemented Walking Dead, I'd be like, what is this? But it never told you. It always said what it was gonna be, and I feel like it kept the same ridiculousness throughout the film.
I felt like it tried to be
Like
serious
it
though,
started
like with the
putting
scene with the mom and stuff like that. I felt like it was trying to be a very like
those things are always there. I think that's just like a human element of it, but they didn't try to like. I feel like they just showed really human elements that actually like. There's actually schizophrenic people like the Power Ranger guy in real life. Like I feel like that's not like we think it's
This
crazy,
gets
but like there's people that act like that, y'all. Like it's actually real life. Like it is crazy to us, but it's also like reflective of what happened. And I think like it just it's weird to see it, but it do be like that. Like that's actually what a human could and would
in that
do if they were
situation.
in that same scenario in real life. Yeah. So I guess it just shows like a really weird part. I feel like it really showed really human elements. And I guess so if you separate that out from the actual zombies, then I like the how the zombies weren't too powerful, but they also weren't weak. You
yeah.
know, they had like leader, like I like that too. So when you put both of those together, like what am I mad at? What am I mad at? So that's why I'm like it's
We have
innocent, you know?
never been this like different as a group. Like
Yeah, this is
I know.
this is
we're
interesting.
like innocent is crazy.
Everybody is all over the place. We're on
Yeah.
different
I think we're gonna have to call it a mistrial,
like
Kelsey.
our first
A
one. I don't think this
mistrial.
has
It's
ever
our
happened.
we've never had a mistrial before.
Wow.
Yep. Trial will come again in the next movie. What's it called? 28 years later?
Like literally, I think it's like
Yeah.
there's a subtitle to it, but yeah. Um
Yeah.
wow. This is crazy. This is a first for us. But
Well,
I don't
I'm
know,
standing
maybe we
on
should have
my
had a jury.
misdemeanor. I'm standing on that misdemeanor for sure.
Yeah, we probably would need a jury. And I'm standing on my innocent.
You,
Kelsey
you
standing on
already do what I
Yeah,
her
she
came in
felony.
definitely
on.
said on that.
You already
She definitely
do.
standing on that.
This is so
Yeah.
funny.
Well, now that I think about it, I did not. Now that I think about it, I did like that scene with the soldiers where they're running away from the zombies and stuff. It gave like I don't know. It was just like more more action, more lore. It almost seems like, and correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like the rest of the world is chilling, but the UK by itself is like the zombie homeland, while the rest of the world still has normal stuff going on, like Instagram
Um
and
it was
Amazon, apparently,
in an earlier movie they quarantined. So, yeah, it was contained.
and just left. So they quarantined it, but they just left.
They were like, I mean, they did at first. They actually were able to kill off all the zombies, and
Yeah.
they thought that it was over and they were rebuilding. And then there was a lady who was like, she was a carrier. So she was technically infected, but
Mhm.
she was a human. And she had accidentally like infected her husband or something. Like she kissed her husband or something, but he was not immune. So
Damn.
he turned into a zombie. And so it started all over again. And so yeah, it's like contained to like an area.
Why not just nuke it? I'm like,
Well,
you might
in
as
the
well
second
just.
movie, they did like bomb like a lot of people, like
But
the whatever military power was there or whatever. It was
oh,
interesting.
okay, got you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you to watch it, but I guess Georgette should maybe.
I will be watching it. Don't worry
It's
about me.
so funny. I love this for us. Wow, guys, our first mistrial. Yeah,
Crazy
we're growing.
episode,
Yes.
indeed.
Milestone.
This is so funny for us, but I had so much fun. I like reviewing controversial movies. Like it's more fun than when we are like all on the same page. You know, the hive mind was not activated today, and I thought it's a fun little debate.
Yeah, that this time.
Pick
Make sure you
your
guys.
fighter.
Yeah. Pick your
Right?
side. Team JPatt, Team Kelsey, or Team Georgette. And make sure you leave a review on this episode too. That's what you tell them, right, Kelsey?
I
Tell
do be
them to
telling
leave a
them that.
review. Make
Yeah.
sure we get our reviews in.
Yes.
Help the podcast grow, and we really appreciate everyone's support.
Yeah.
Yeah. And our next movie, F1. I'm gonna be a bit biased because my boy Damson is in it, but we'll see.
Well, we will see you
All right,
guys
peace.
next week.